The wall. The wall. Everyone loves it.
On day one, we will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall. And yes, we will build the wall. We've already started planning. It will be built.
Yeah, we're going to build a wall. It's going to be a real wall. See that ceiling up there? I mean, this is a wall that if you get up there, you're not coming down very easy.
I said the wall just got 10 feet higher. That's right. It's true.
It was a central campaign promise by Donald Trump. It was easy to understand. It was a physical, big, beautiful wall. You heard the man. What a difference between the airy, intangible, ethereal promises about border security that had emanated from the Washington swamp forever before that. It was speaking what had been unspeakable until that moment. You just weren't allowed to talk about building a southern wall or about illegal immigration in either party till Donald Trump upended that collusion. That, I put to you, is the number one reason why Donald Trump is president today. It's why he beat more than a dozen other Republican presidential nominees with much more experience and much stronger bases in the party. He simply spoke bluntly and honestly. As I've said before, if Donald Trump builds that wall, almost nothing else matters in my view. He will be re-elected in 2020. However, if he does not build the wall, almost nothing else matters. He will not be reelected in 2020. That's my view, which is why I was so terrified when I saw this tweet by Donald Trump after his meeting with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Let me read it to you. The wall, which is already under construction in the form of new renovation of old and existing fences and walls, will continue to be built? Really? Is that really a big, bold, beautiful wall that's so high you can't even see the top of it? No, it is not. Renovating old and existing fences? Has Donald Trump been swallowed by the swamp? Has he been lulled by Nancy Pelosi and Charles Schumer? Is he just another Republican? Was this his George Bush Sr., read my lips, no new taxes, broken promise? Oh my God, I hope not. But joining us now is someone who probably has a closer view of the scene than me, our friend John Cardillo, who joins us now via Skype from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Great to see you again, John.
Oh, thanks, Ezra. Great to see you. Great to be here.
Well, you're back in Florida. Give me 1 minute on that. How is the the state recovering from Hurricane Irma? How is your residents and other things around you and in Miami?
Yeah, so here in my front yard, all the shrubbery bushes is absolutely destroyed, but my house itself was fine. Luckily, no damage, no water damage, no wind damage. A lot of neighbors still without power, but I see the power crews out there even this morning when I went to grab coffee. A lot of power crews out there, internet crews. So they expect to have pretty much everybody back up and running, they say, by tomorrow night, Wednesday morning.
That'd be great. Give me 30 seconds on Miami, and then I want to get to our topic of the day, Donald Trump. How's Miami doing?
A friend of mine was down there this morning, about the same as Fort Lauderdale. So the way what I just described is reflective in Miami as well.
Well, good luck to everybody down there. It's one of our, a lot of Canadians love Florida, and we're glad that things are heading back on the mend. Okay, back to the hot topic of the day. Donald Trump, has he sold out? I mean, please tell me no. Please tell me, John, that the Trump era of the Trump administration has lasted more than 9 months.
I haven't been able to catch my breath since I was reading those tweets, Ezra. You know, I'm concerned. Let me say I'm concerned. Will I go as far as say sold out to the swamp yet? No. But it is very concerning, especially the tweet that you read and that you put up on the screen there. We were sold a wall. And I say often on air and in print, the greatest, the most valuable piece of currency an American has is their vote. It's more valuable than any denomination of currency in their wallet, in their pocket. And we bought a wall. We bought a hard line on immigration. We bought a hard line on the Iran deal. When we took a gamble and we put our money, our hard-earned political currency down on Donald Trump, the insurgent candidate, because he alleviated our frustration, right? Americans, they were frustrated and they were angry, and Donald Trump alleviated that. And now he's causing it. He's causing it with this ambiguity on the wall and this ambiguity on DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, and EU leaders saying he might stay in the Paris Climate Accords, and Democrats saying, well, he's not going to be such a hardliner on Iran. Now, the White House has nicely refuted many of those statements, but I think it's fair to say I'm concerned, and I'm pretty in touch with the base daily on social media, on air. they're concerned as well.
Yeah, I saw that piece. I mean, I remember when Donald Trump on the White House lawn said, I was elected to represent Pittsburgh, not Paris. I'm out of the UN deal. It was amazing. I love Scott Pruitt, the EPA cabinet post. And now we see Rex Tillerson saying, oh, well, you know, maybe we'll just head back in. I feel like the swamp is slowly taking over. All the hardliners, all the campaign team of Trump, Bannon, out. So the last one who really had flavor to him, Stephen Miller, the domestic policy advisor on immigration, I think he's the last one in there, maybe Kellyanne Conway too. I am worried that Trump is being de-Trumpified, and that scares me because Donald Trump, to me, I mean, I find him interesting as a personality, but to me, his value was he married that I don't care what you think personality to a set of underlying principles. Just having some entertaining guy as president, it would be like Jesse the Body Ventura as governor. If you don't have or Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor, if all you have is pizzazz and personality and celebrity, but no conservative underpinning, I find that boring and meaningless. And I don't think he'd filled stadiums like he did in the campaign trail if it was just, hi, meet Donald Trump telling jokes for an hour.
No, Ezra, you're 100% right. And you raise a good point with regards to notoriety as opposed to substance. So there are some other people who troublingly have left the White House as well. One that most people know, Sebastian Gorka, who was a very close disciple of Steve Bannon. And as importantly, a name that less people know, Andy Sarabian. So Andy Sarabian was really the political piece of the trifecta of the Bannon-Gorka alliance. There was a Sarabian in there as well, and he was one of those last political voices in touch with the base from that alliance. You have Stephen Miller, who my sources in the White House are now telling me is marginalized. He doesn't have the power he once did. You have a very effective person on the National Security Council, the name most people don't know, Michael Anton, who himself is being marginalized by the globalists and H.R. McMaster. And you've got people like Kellyanne Conway that simply don't have the access they once had to the president because General Kelly is locking down the West Wing. He's really limiting access to the president unless it goes through him. And it seems, and General Kelly's an honorable man. He's had a stellar career, but it does seem that he is much more in line with the establishment than with the insurgent base. And so when you have all of this influence around you telling you night and day, no, ignore your base. They're the fringes. Yeah. The establishment is what Americans want. When you're hearing this night and day, and you've got a guy like Gary Cohn and Dina Powell, it is very concerning. But most importantly, Ezra, it's very, very wrong. Yeah. The base does not want what the globalists are telling the president. We're seeing insurgent candidates now pop up for our midterms. And in early polling, look at Kelly Ward in Arizona. She's beating Jeff Flake, the establishment guy, by 27 points. Yeah. I fear the president is getting very bad advice from the establishment neocons around him. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I read some headline just over the weekend that there are 5 former Goldman Sachs executives in the Trump inner team. And I think it's important to have people who are savvy in global finance. I mean, of course, that's true. But when their influence exceeds financial matters to international treaties, national sovereignty, immigration, the wall, I think that is exactly the insider connections that were rejected when Hillary Clinton and Jeb Bush were given the boot. If people wanted an establishment candidate, they would have chosen Hillary or Jeb. They chose the most anti-establishment candidate possible. And that tweet, let's just put that tweet back up on the screen for 1 second. How on earth does this tweet, the wall, which is already under construction? No, it's not. In the form of new renovation of old and existing fences and walls? What? Will continue to be built? That is a pretzel. That is a contortion. That is not the straight-talking Donald Trump. Last word to you. Do you think Trump knows that he's offside with his base on that, or do you think he doesn't care?
Well, I think he would care if he knew, but they are really limiting, they're throttling what he can read, what he can see, the communications coming into him. Because the president has a very busy day, and he relies on his staff to give him the relevant communications. But I will tell you this, I've been coordinating with some other voices like mine that have reach, people that do understand the base, do want to see the president succeed. And we're getting the message out there collectively, unofficially, without direction from any particular person or entity. But we've made a decision to get it out to the base, what we think the president needs to hear. And if enough of us get loud, and if outlets like the Rebel get loud, it can't stay off the president's radar for long. And that's key, right? The base needs to get very, very loud and say, hey, Mr. President, we want what we paid for.
Yeah. You know, let me close on that interesting point. I like following Ann Coulter. She's got a great combination of sarcasm, humor, and plain talk. Yeah. And she was, I think, one of the earliest people to see Trump's potential on this immigration issue. Whenever Trump gets out of the Beltway and has a massive stadium-sized rally, Ann Coulter loves it, and she points out the crowd gives him feedback on things that we all love, like his views on immigration, and she always points out that they're silent or even booing him when he gives shout outs to his globalist friends. As long as Trump can get out of Washington and have those 30,000 person focus groups cheer, like they would not cheer that tweet. If he were to say that tweet, he would be booed by 30,000 people, and that might be the wake-up call he needs. Here's hoping he keeps doing those massive stadium rallies.
Yeah, I agree, Ezra. I think that is a great point.
John, it's great to see you again. Thanks for joining us with your interesting viewpoint on American politics. Of course, it doesn't just affect Americans, it affects us very much up here in Canada, too. And we're rooting for America's success because ours is closely tied to yours. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Always a pleasure, Ezra. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. John Cardillo with his point of view on Donald Trump. Hey, if you like that, sign up for my show every day. Click on the screen to subscribe.